Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. It's the exam season. You wrote your costing paper and you've come back. I hope the paper went well. However, it is for you to drop that paper now. Whether it has gone good or bad, if someone asks you how the paper is, you tear your paper and tell it's done like this. So, what is done is done. Let's focus on audit, the most feared subject now. Do not worry, guys, you have 3.5 days for your exams. On the other hand, I had only 1.5 days where I studied the entire module and I cleared with good marks. I got 71 in audit. So 3.5 days is a lot. And many of you may feel like, okay, 3.5 days is a lot. And when I spoke to my friend, right, you guys had 3.5 days even for your tax. She told I didn't prepare very well because I thought, okay, 3.5 days is a lot of time. So she didn't do it with the same productivity if she had like 1.5 days. So I recommend you make use of 3.5 days. You have to tell this to your mind. You have to scare your mind telling, okay, 3.5 days, matlab audit, they'll give very hard this time. I have to study properly. So keep that mindset and keep studying. I'll tell you two strategies on how you can prepare. You choose either of the one. One, what I followed was I read the entire module previous day. I read the module twice in 1.5 days. I only read the key points. I did not go through the entire answer. I read only the key points. I completed each chapter, say, in an hour or 1.5 hours, and I completed the module 2 times. I read the RTP questions on a priority basis because I knew many questions will repeat from the RTP. So I made sure I do the RTP questions on the priority basis, and then I read all the other rest of the questions. So in this way, I finished the module twice before exam. Okay, many of you may think, how is that possible? It is possible. You should not spend too much time on any chapter. Give maximum 1 to 1.5 hours to each chapter. Just reading, right? No writing, no memories, nothing. Because you have read it and written it multiple times, just have to read it. I won't tell you, okay, you do day 1, you cover these many chapters, day 2, cover these chapters. You know that. You can plan accordingly. But make sure that you give 1 to 1.5 hours to each chapter and go on reading the points. And the second strategy, how I would recommend you guys is write and solve. Write only the key points. I know you're like, Aditya, it's how can I write and practice audit just before exam? Guys, you have 3 days for audit. So even if you write and solve, I'm sure you'll be able to complete it easily. Because when you write and solve, the probability of you remembering the answer is much higher. So I recommend you write and solve each answer. I'm sure you'll be able to do that in 3 days. The entire audit. I'm not telling you to write entire answer. Write only the key points in rough. Do not emphasize too much on handwriting. Just write it in rough. Your objective is to make sure that you remember the answers and follow this. I'm sure you'll do great, guys. Audit. After audit, you have FMSM. So I don't think, or I wouldn't study FMSM in 3 days unless I'm very good at audit, underconfident about FMSM. I wouldn't do that. If anyone feels like doing FMSM for 1 day, you guys may do that and dedicate 2 days for audit. But majority of you, I suggest you give audit entire 3 days, and you guys can get an exemption. It is really doable. Focus on RTP questions. Let that be a priority basis, and then the rest of the questions. Just say you have left one chapter, say audit of financial statements, because most of the people leave that chapter. And you may feel, okay, I've completed the entire audit in 2 days. Let me just study that little part of audit of financial statements in these days. Never make that blunder. Whatever you have studied up till now, you are going to study that itself. If you have studied for 70 marks, you are going to prepare for those 70 marks itself. No touching of any new topics now, even though how much ever confident you feel about the chapters which you have prepared. Go on. If you have completed the portions in these 2 days, read that 70% again or read that 80% again. Don't touch anything new. Mind is not fresh to take any new topics because you've already written your 4 papers, or this may be your first paper. So do not read any new topics now. No matter how the first 4 papers have gone, do not worry too much about it. These 2 papers can still make a difference and you can still do it. So do not stop now. Keep going and you will do great. All the best, guys. Jai Anjaneya.